Tonight we take a look at the rolling dynamics in the Cranston PD situation. I can think of other words, but that's all I had at that particular moment. How are you? Nice to have you in Dan York State of Mind for a Thursday evening. Tonight my guest is Cranston City Councilor Don Botts. He will be here to talk about what is rumored to be a pending no confidence vote for Mayor Fung from the Cranston City Council, all due to this state police report on Cranston City Hall, the Cranston Police Department, and you'd have to be visiting or living under a rock not to know what this story is all about. So we'll kind of highlight for you and bring you that conversation coming up. A note, a kind of a program note and a newsy note here. Last night, Target 12, through the good work by Tim White and Ted Nesi on WPR.com, broke this story. There's a headline here that I want to show you. And it says, Gordon Fox ordered 38 Studios deal, lawyers say. The intimate details of this story I'm going to pass on right now because we are going to focus on it entirely tomorrow night in a program that, wink, wink, don't tell anybody, we're going to record right after our Thursday recording session here. Ken Block from watchdogri.org and Monique Chartier from the Rhode Island Taxpayers Association will be here for tomorrow night's show. They called a Thursday press conference to make some demands of the governor for an investigation and asking the judge to do some things, all based on Tim and Ted's report. Please make a note that there will be a conversation tomorrow night. Of course, you can see this program 3 times an evening, 7:30 and 11:30 on MyRI TV, the home of New England Patriots preseason football, of course, and Fox Providence at midnight. So make a note on that for tomorrow. All righty. In the meantime, let us go to the rundown and take care of some things that are on my mind here. This is, you got to be kidding me. Cloudy water? The Providence Journal headline here, public pools shut the day before the heat wave. Turns out that these pools were shut down. These are the city pools. You know how much we talked about this both on radio, on WPRO, weekdays noon to 3, and here last summer, pounding away at the then mayor, and now Mayor Taveras. And now we find out under Mayor Elorza that the rain made them cloudy. I don't think so. See, it seems we got a couple of different stories here. City Hall spokespeople will tell you that the heavy rain caused the cloudiness in the pool, and cloudiness in the pool is dangerous because if you can't see kids at the bottom of the pool, then, you know, well, I was a lifeguard for a long time, and I was a lifeguard at a really big pool, and when we had heavy rains, it got cloudy. You know what we did? We shocked the pool. That means throwing some stuff in there. I didn't know what it was, but somebody else did it. I just watched the kids and picked up the garbage cans when I was a lifeguard. But the truth of the matter is that it takes about a day or two. But right now it seems like the pools are all shut down. And at least one city councilor in Providence called the Buddy Cianci program yesterday on WPRO and had his theory.
The fact is, the pools were not cured properly with the paint, and therefore that's the problem. And the paint is actually going into the pools.
That's right.
Contaminating the health and safety of people who are in the pool.
Unbelievable. And this seems to be the story. The more people you talk to, the more that seems to be the case. The mayor's office is talking about the rain causing it, and other elected officials are saying it's about paint. Now, this is the guy who ran and said Buddy was dirty, Buddy was a liar, Buddy was not transparent. I'm honest, I'm an angel, I'm transparent, I'm all those things. If they can't get their act straight and be straight about the facts on pool closings, what can we trust them on? More on this next week, but it doesn't look like it'll be more on this with open pools. It's embarrassing. It's elementary. It's juvenile. It's JV. Next item. Stadium slowdown? Yeah, it looks like the progress on McCoy being vacated and a brand new stadium in the 195 redevelopment land being erected might be, well, a little tardy. The headline kind of indicates that. Today in the Providence Journal, the Assembly unlikely to deal with the stadium this year. Unlikely, not absolutely not going to happen. Unlikely means, well, you know what unlikely means. Nick Mattiello, the Speaker of the House, is saying that the 195 Redevelopment Commission chairman there, Joseph Azrak, has been having quiet negotiations with the Paw Sox, and Mattiello's consultant, Mr. Zimbalist, has been watching over the negotiations, and they're not sure they're going to race to it this fall. Translation, he doesn't have the votes. He does not have the votes. What he needs is to create transparency and get the second ask from the Paw Sox up publicly. There should not be behind-the-scenes negotiations. Details, yeah, but concepts, no. After the Paw Sox management came to the public with its first ask. This whole thing is discombobulated. Meanwhile, keep eyeing your seats at McCoy because it doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon. Jimmy Carter has cancer. The headline today was devastating for anybody who loves Jimmy Carter, and I think we all kind of in our culture love former presidents, don't we? CBS has the story on what was a very gutsy day for the former presidents.
There were 4 spots of melanoma on my brain.
The 90-year-old revealed his health battle last week, saying it was discovered during liver surgery. He told reporters he was surprisingly calm when he received the diagnosis.
I've had an exciting and adventurous and gratifying existence. So I was surprisingly at ease, much more so than my wife was. Hope for the best and accept what comes. You know, I think I have been as blessed as any human being in the world.
You know, he was my first presidential vote. I screwed up, but here's the thing. He was gutsy today. He was contemplative. He offered perspective. He was humble. He had humor. And I think the grace and class that he showed was extraordinary. He's 90, but he's fighting for life like he was 9. And you have to admire that, no doubt about it. But he's 90, and none of us get out of here alive, right? But I wish him good health for a long, long time. He is someone that we can be proud of. Politics aside, very classy guy. Little Leagues, yeah, it's rolling down now to just one. The Warwick North softball Little League team fell last night. Here's some video and the championship effort. They did a good job. They just fell short. They gave it 4 runs in the first. I get a little, uncomfortable starting to narrate the nuances of, inning by inning analysis for 11, 12, and 13-year-old boys or girls. But they battled hard, and good for them, and congratulations. And I'm sure they'll be welcomed with open arms, warmly and celebratively, as they are now second in the world in their category of softball for their performance in Portland, Oregon. Now, beginning tomorrow, well, Little League World Series for the boys has already started, but Cranston Western starts its search for a world title tomorrow. And a nice little piece, Yanni Caracas put together a retrospective piece with a former Little Leaguer.
And he is out. The relay to third, and 2 outs. A double play for Cranston, Rhode Island.
Sitting in our sports office 19 years later, and the moments are ingrained in the memory of former Cranston Western player Matt Lovejoy.
Every year when I see the World Series, it brings back great memories from that summer. I think about my teammates, I think about the 3 weeks away, and I also think about the great coaches I had. But most of all, you just think about the experience. It was just unbelievable.
And as a savvy Little League vet, what kind of advice does Matt have for this year's team?
I would just tell them that the most important thing is that they enjoy the experience. 110% or nothing, and win or lose, just take it for a lifetime experience.
Hey, listen, I still remember throwing a no-hitter when I was 10. I did give up a couple of walks. The score was 5-1, but it was a no-hitter nonetheless. It was on my father's birthday. I remember July 30th, 1971. These memories never go away. Lovejoy's 31. I'm 50. Your state of mind is important to us. 228-1886, state of mind at myritv.com. As we wish Cranston Western good luck, we take a look at some of your feedback. This on last night's show, and the Grow Smart guy, Scott Wolf, who was here saying, hey, listen, I support the truck tolls. How about raising revenue by punishing offenders? Maybe raise funds in bridge areas for speeding. He spoke about motorists damaging roads and bridges. Well, he actually talked about the trucks doing that. A speeding vehicle causes more damage than one that isn't. Okay, Mike. Just know we're going to get whacked by those tolls one way or the other. The truckers will not be the only victims. Mark my words. When we come back, Cranston City Councilor having to decide about no confidence. Stay with us. So as I promised you, we would continue with the saga of Alan Fung, not because we're doing it for sport, but because there's all sorts of things going on in the city of Cranston regarding the state police report on the Cranston Police Department and Fung's management of it. Recent headline, as many of you have seen, that nonsense. Fung feared city would lose legal battle against suspended captain. That would be Stephen Antonucci. That is a pile of manure, according to your host. Let me run a little bit of one of many capsule summaries by Eyewitness News, then we'll meet our guest.
Rhode Island State Police's 180-page assessment of the Cranston Police Department found turmoil, low morale, and lack of leadership. It also found political influence and interference by Mayor Alan Fung and his administration. The first example, the handling of the ticket scandal and Captain Stephen Antonucci. The report also reveals how then Colonel Marco Palumbo hired private investigators to tail certain individuals. The report alleges the mayor knew about one instance but didn't take any corrective action.
It's almost like we're in a totalitarian state. It's just unheard of.
Yeah? Does it still feel that way?
In some ways. Well, not anymore with Colonel Winquist, but I mean, looking back, I think it was.
All you got to do is read the report, right?
I did read the report, probably within the first day and a half.
Harrowing.
Yeah, troubling, I would say, definitely. Made me a little angry with what was going on. And I think there was so much in the report, I had to make my own timeline to really digest everything that happened. And I think it syncs everything nicely, so you can follow it.
All right. Don Botts is a Republican, two-term now city councilman in the fair city of Cranston. I thought you were fairly diligent in your Q&A with Mayor Fung in the city council meeting the other night. Although I must tell you, I was underwhelmed by the entire body's performance. Mm-hmm. I think his answers have been opportunities, literally, to drill down and really. I think he just left himself wide open on X number of areas. I mean, he has not come in here. He may not dare. Mm-hmm. And I don't say that out of any bravado, but I don't have parliamentary procedure to worry about. And I think the guy's got to go, and I'd tell him why. But this isn't about me, it's about you and your perspective on this whole thing. Give me your overall perspective on where we are right now with this controversy.
Overall perspective is we have a no confidence vote. That docket just came out today. I don't believe I'm going to vote in favor of the no confidence resolution. Up front, I think.
What does it call for? What does it say?
It just, there was quite a bit of verbiage in it, but at the end it just says the city council does not have the confidence of the mayor to run the city of Cranston, I think is what.
Does it go so far as to ask for a resignation?
It did not. It didn't, as far as I could read. Like I said, it came out an hour ago. I was on the train. I read it on my phone, and that's kind of the gist of what I got out of it.
You've changed your mind.
I have. Looking back, and first I heard of a rumor of it was the other day, and my initial reaction was possibly or yes. And but I'm looking back, and it's like, you know what? My view is this: I battle these guys every 2 years for my seat, and
these guys,
the Democrats who are bringing in, who are spearheading this, and right, you know what? Rightly so in some ways. I think it needs to be fully investigated, and I think. The truth needs to come out. And I even said that the night the mayor was at our meeting. I don't think the police report went far enough. I don't like the timing of the police report and when it came out. If you know the city charter of Cranston, 30 months after the mayor has been in office, if there's a vacancy, there's no special election. It just falls to the council president. And you know what, I know it's the charter, but I have a problem handing the keys over to the opposition. If this report came out 6 months ago, I think I would be all in favor of having a special election and having the voters decide on that.
Party politics means that much in a municipality, really?
It does. I mean, you know what, Dan? You can't ignore politics. You know what? There's one thing I learned is there's politics everywhere. You can't ignore it. And even now, I think there's politics being played. And you know what?
Like what?
Well, I think the Democrats would like to be able to seize the mayoralship right now, and I think that's.
So what?
Well, you asked me if I have no confidence in the mayor. I run against Democrats every 2 years because basically I don't have any confidence in them being able to run a city. That's why I run against them. So now you're asking me to vote no confidence.
Well, I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm asking you if, you know.
All right, let me put it this way. The council's president and 2 co-sponsors are putting together a resolution asking the council to vote no confidence on that.
But initially, I know that you were thinking you would vote yes.
Initially, and there were some other things I was going through and looking at, and you know what? Day to day, hour to hour, there's mood swings, there's whatever reading this. And you know what? One of the things I was reading the other day was about, I was looking at the 2008 contributions to the mayor and trying to split, listing them and maybe splitting it out via who I think were on the A and the B team. And, there's quite a bit of money who I perceive to be coming from the A team and not much coming from what was the B team. So that had me a little concerned the other day. I think there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and I really think, bottom line is, I'd like to see more information come out before a call for resignation comes out.
Councilors Stikos and Arquette have been here twice, and have indicated to me on and off that there might be an investigation sponsored by the council that would further the state police report. Is that in the hopper?
I'm not sure. I didn't see it on the docket, but that's something I wouldn't object to.
Is that something that the guys are talking about? I mean, just because they're Democrats doesn't mean you don't chat with them.
Right. To be honest,
are there any other Republicans on the council?
There are. There are 2 other Republicans on the council.
Okay. Who are they?
Mike Favicchio, who's our minority leader, and Chris Popowskis.
Are they also going to vote no on the no conflict?
I haven't talked to them, to be honest.
I got to tell you, Don, all due respect, if the Republicans vote no and the council, the Democrats vote yes on a no confidence vote, you guys are going to look like a caricature of yourself. This city council will look like a bunch of buffoons who don't know the difference between right and wrong and put silly municipal politics in front of doing the right thing.
Well, I disagree. And you know what? If this resolution was to say that we call on Mayor Fung not to run for re-election in 2016, that would be something I think I could support. You know what?
Well, I mean, that would be a reach. I mean, when has a council ever suggested a political decision for somebody?
Yeah, I mean, again, they probably wouldn't put something out like that. But you know what? I would support asking the mayor not to run again. And you know what? Maybe that's the political price you could pay.
You can do that right here. You can say, Mayor, please don't run again.
I don't think the mayor should run again in 2016.
So I'm in the back of the room at the council meeting the other night, just observing, and one long-time Democratic political person, after listening to your presentation, leans over to the other and says, "He's running for mayor." Are you running for mayor?
I am not running for mayor. I've always seen myself on the legislative side of things. I firmly believe if this change wants to come to Rhode Island, I think it needs to come from the General Assembly. I can't primary my rep because that's Bob Lancia, fellow Republican. But in the future, if there's a Senate seat available, or in 4 years maybe I'd make a Senate challenge. But I'm not putting myself out there to run for mayor.
If Fung gets out of the game, would you reconsider?
It's a possibility. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, it would take a boatload of cash, which I have zero in my campaign account right now. And it would take an organization which I really don't have right now.
So your motive is not to see Alan Fung die on the vine and to keep the Democrats at bay because you'd like a clearer path to the mayoral ticket?
No, that's not it at all.
All right, I got to process this. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Four Cranston City Council members have pitched a formal resolution demanding that Mayor Fung reinstate Officer Matthew Josephson to the rank of sergeant. Josephson was demoted in November of 2013 for allegedly using a recording device in the Cranston police station. But in an assessment of the department ordered by Mayor Alan Fung, state police found the demotion was unfair and unjust, and that the charges lacked factual basis, documentation, and evidence. In their resolution, the city councilors say, quote, "The Rhode Island State Police discussed the Josephson situation in detail with Mayor Fung and recommended he be restored immediately to the rank of sergeant. Yet Mayor Fung has not acted to right an obvious wrong."
And it is unfair, and I acknowledge that it's unfair.
The mayor says he doesn't have the unilateral flexibility to just create a permanent position.
So I guess these are four Democrats, since we're talking party politics here, who have suggested that Sergeant Josephson be reinstated to sergeant. create a position or not. Do you support that?
I do.
Okay.
I think he.
So that's a bipartisan reaction to the report, correct?
It is. You know, reading the report, he didn't get very good representation by his union assigned attorney, and to be honest, the charges were trumped up, and he should be today a sergeant. So in the past, there was no problem making acting captains or acting lieutenants, and you know, I don't see any issue with having an acting sergeant for someone that got wronged like that.
All right. So to review, I mean, you're not on trial here. You didn't do anything wrong. You're a counselor. You got to sift through this whole situation. So I get that. But let me see if I'm clear. You wish the mayor would resign, you'd call on him to resign, or you think you should stick it out?
Like I said, if the mayor, if this was earlier where we could have a special election, I would consider having the mayor, calling for the mayor to resign. But you know what, this late in the game with that, I just can't do it. I can't do it.
Because it hands the temporary custodial leadership of the city to the
the council president until the next general election. And look, I think the mayor has a great team operating under him, his department heads. You know, his director of finance has done a great job with the budgeting. You know, public works, senior services, all these directors I think are doing a great job. And I'd hate to see him get swept out temporarily. You know, I think that they're helping.
Don, do you get that people are throwing banana peels at the TV right now over the idea that principle is secondary to your political analysis?
That could be. That could be. But I think...
And if you guys vote 6-3, if 6 Democrats vote no confidence and 3 Republicans vote no on the no confidence, that will create a clear perception that at least the Republicans have no perspective on the damage that has been created here.
I think my perspective is this, is that the election is the way to convey no confidence. Like, we could highlight the IBPO taking a no confidence vote on Colonel McGrath.
Sure.
But they don't elect their chief. I think the people of Cranston elect their mayor, and I think you could put that out to them.
Will you support Mayor Fung if he seeks re-election?
No, at this point, no.
Well, he'll be the Republican against the Democrat. Then what happens?
Well, there's other possibilities that could happen, I suppose, in terms of my political future. But, you know...
No, I mean, you don't want the Democrats to control the place, but you wouldn't support Fung, which means that a Democrat will end up winning the mayoralty, Mike Seepy or whoever else, who, by the way, is coming Monday.
Unless a candidate steps forward that can win the mayor's race.
Were you nauseated when you read this report?
I was.
But not enough. Not enough.
Well, I think there's been a lot of corrections that have been done. We have Colonel Winquist in the police department.
Sure.
From all accounts I've heard that morale is up, that a good job is being done there, and that's been corrected. And I think if you look at all the other departments in the city right now, I think things are running well. The storm that blew through, I think for the most part the response was very good by the city. So I think there are good things coming from the city, and I'd hate to see that side of it go.
Come back. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
Sure you're not running for mayor?
I'm sure.
Last word. Stay with us. Honestly, there ought to be a lot of conversation on the radio tomorrow. Matt Allen's in for me on WPRO at noontime tomorrow. Don Botts is nauseated by the Mayor Fung carryings on in the state police report, but ain't no Democrats going to be running the city. Priorities, man. Hey, 38 Studios, the latest tomorrow night, right here. Good night. Thanks for watching.